Hey, we're live. What's up, guys? This is a special shout out to our friends in the MIFFL Fantasy League. We are doing our follow-up podcast on your guys' league, checking in on how you guys are doing, checking on some trades, hopefully. That's always fun to evaluate. Check your standings and probably talk some shit at you. And we're fucking live, so hit us up in the comments
doing it
if
live.
you guys are watching with us. This should probably be pretty fun. So I guess without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it because there's really not much else to say. We gave you the whole spiel the first time. We're going to kick it off here in the Southwest Division with Grow It Out. And you, my friend, are 2-5. Sitting on 829 points for, which is pretty wild for a 2-5 team. Looking at
I know.
Sorry about that, dude.
That sucks.
I mean, a lot of it looking here. Holy crap. Okay, so CJ Stroud, he got the big boom here with the late pick, which is so cool because he had Geno. So it was like you took like that middle quarterback and you took a stab on another dude, and then you got the home run, and he's got Kyler potentially looming.
Oh, yeah. Full practice, but not playing this week.
How long do you think till he's out there?
I saw week 9 or 10.
Yeah, week 9 is my guess. Next week.
Dude, Kyler was dead. I mean, if you asked anybody, he was dead in August.
Dude, Everyone was saying he wasn't going to play all year. And like, I'm such a Kyler stan. I like wouldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. Why would he? I'm so happy. That's my guy. Short king for life.
Now, do you think he'll be back with the Cardinals next year?
I don't know. He has so much dead cap, man. I just don't know.
The
other team would really have to play ball with it.
But the great thing is for the Cardinals, if they can get Kyler Murray to be a thing, they can use those early draft picks that they're going to have on building all their positions on that team. Right. That's the way to go.
I think so.
And as much as everyone has clowned Gannon, like he's clearly a good coach.
I know they do have fire in their bellies.
Yeah,
Arizona's covered. They've covered every first half spread. Like they're doing exactly what you should do as a tank team. Show you can compete, and then be like, nah. I don't want that dub.
Yeah, we good.
All right.
Yeah, he's sitting beautiful at quarterback.
Yeah, and he survived the cup injury. We were worried about that, so that's clutch. I mean, he's got Tyreek, demigod at wide receiver. You know, great pick with Rashee Rice. Love that. I don't know. Yeah, like Zach said at the beginning, I don't know how this team's 2-5. This was the team I previewed. I said was clearly the best in this division, and they're in last place. And I'm like, come on.
I mean, Derrick Henry and AJ Dillon is leaving a lot to be desired, especially when you're sitting on Penny and Cam Akers. The lucky thing here is you got Tajay Spears, so hopefully Henry gets traded to like a contender like Baltimore or something. He gets used a lot. He's relevant for fantasy now on his new team, and then boom, Tajay Spears is a home run for you too. That's your best case scenario. Running back, I think you should be trying to add a running back at the deadline.
Yeah, Penny is dead. Like it was lottery ball who was going to win, and he lost. So you know that's not the Eagles running back you want. You just want Swift.
I mean, I suppose Cam Akers has like the slightest amount of value moving forward. He looks like he's going to get used a little bit, but that's a stretch. You're pretty deep at receiver.
Yeah.
I would be trying to make a move. Yeah. Receiver for running back swap if I could. You got to do something here. I mean, it sucks that you're 2-5 and you're sitting in, I don't know, quick math, 5th or 6th overall in points. Like that blows.
Second most points against.
Yeah.
Just probably some bad luck.
Only 2 games back in the division, though.
Yep.
It's not over. Not over.
That's true.
Especially
I
at
like
Tyreek.
that about the division setup, that it's not like just a 1 through 12 standing, that even though, yeah, like you said, Alex, he's not in a division with a 6-1 team. So yeah, the run could easily be made here.
Yeah, see if you can flip maybe Debo or McLaurin and see if you can get a decent running back. I mean, I see you acquired Dylan. As someone that has also tried to acquire Dylan, it never works. I'm sorry, but it didn't kill you. You know, you didn't give up too much. And then, what do you guys think about tight end? He is Kate Otten, and then Ertz just went on IR, and also he just kind of seems washed. Would you guys make a move at tight end? Because I have a thought.
Yeah, you're not gonna ride with Kate Otten if you're gonna try to contend.
But like, unless you get Kelsey,
That's true.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but
I would say
Dennis was like,
you can do better than Kate Otten.
Looking at the waivers,
Yes.
I'd probably pick up Tyler Conklin.
yeah,
Like, he's at least been getting 3-4 catches a game. I believe this is half PPR, so you're still racking up a little bit for it. And yeah, I agree with Dennis in the fact that, especially this year, it is almost like if you don't have Kelsey, it's even more just so like, whatever, fuck it.
right. And I would focus on running back because running back's also super hard to acquire. So,
Right.
Yeah, I would tend to agree there, unless you could get Kelsey. We're not going to talk about kickers and defense. So,
no.
All right, it's Voda time. 3 and 4.
Voda.
And we're looking at would be second to last in scoring. So here's your target to jump, man. If you're grow it out, trying to jump Voda, 1 game back on him. And
remember, Voda was on 4 first-round picks.
Oh, snap! Really?
Yeah, they had the 103, the 104, the 111, and the 112, and they got Zay and JSN. Like we recommended, grab 2 of the top 4 wide receivers. Love that. I'm sure you're happy with that. And then he won the Achan sweepstakes. Got him. Fortunately, also got Tank, but we'll forget that one. 3 out of 4. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, and honestly, he could have taken QJ. So.
Ooh, too soon.
Never. Always fire up the QJ slander.
Yeah, you guys are outnumbering me. I need Ryan back. I need my ally. It's my tag team partner, Ryan. Come on.
Yeah, it is kind of surprising with all those picks where we're sitting here. Trevor is just not put up the fantasy numbers we thought. We talked about this on our last one. We did a little bit, but basically ETN is just getting insane work, which is just torn into Trevor's work. But then the other thing is the Jags defense has been so good that they're creating so many turnovers that they're making short fields. So they're not racking up as many yards, but then they get there and then they just give it to ETN. So there's been a bunch of like random shit, and then the random dumb turnovers, and it's like it's just been weird. He's gonna get better for fantasy, and he's not gonna end up to where we projected at the beginning of the year. But it is what it is. You don't really have any better options here, or even a second option now that I'm looking. So, but Trevor's still gonna be fine. It's not like you're not rolling out a dud.
Yeah, I mean, it's turned into a pretty competitive roster. I mean, Pacheco has been awesome for him. Got to be happy with that. And then Alex called it. Chuba, he's looking better than Sanders. I got to give him credit on that one as well. That's turning like a good number 2. I'm curious what happens this week with Sanders back. So you don't really know, but I mean, efficiency-wise, Chuba's been the better guy, and you always bet on that. I mean, Sanders does have money though. So
that's the caveat is they paid him,
and it was this regime that did it.
And I don't know if this offense can sustain 2 running backs.
they could barely sustain one.
I was just gonna say they can barely. Yeah.
This offense is pretty. Oh, they can sustain a wide receiver.
Adam Thielen. That's about it.
I think he has like 30 more catches than any other Carolina wide receiver.
Yeah, at least.
I sincerely wouldn't even be shocked if he had the same amount of catches as the rest of the team.
I know.
But yeah, I think JSN. I was happy he scored last week. I think he's coming on. He's hella talented. It's just that offense has also kind of been like the Jags, where the running game, and it's Pete Carroll, so he's always going to run the ball a lot. But I just feel like a lot of the touchdowns have gone to running backs and just not wide receivers. And Bobo randomly out of nowhere.
I know. Get the fuck out of here with him.
Seriously, like I don't mean to be mean to the guy. I'm happy for him, but like fantasy, like they already have 3 really good wide receivers. Like, let's not Arthur Smith this. Come on.
Yeah, please.
You know, hey, at least he made a badass catch. It wasn't like he just plunged in a 1-yarder. At least give him the props for that.
And he's got a fun name, Jake Bobo.
That's true. I think anyone in his family's ever gone into the clown industry.
I feel like it's tailor-made.
I know. That's all I'm saying.
Good tight end situation. Trey McBride, like we just mentioned with Ertz, and then he's got Kmet, I'm the biggest Kmet hater. He's actually looked better than like a stick in the mud, like he has been. So he's actually created some separation. So good situation at tight end.
Trey McBride was starting to take over before Ertz went down. It was trending up. So see what he does by himself, and then adding Kyler Murray to that as well should be nice. Yeah.
Hindsight on the Cole Kmet situation totally says that he wasn't getting any worse separation wise.
Yeah, it was hard to get worse than he was. And now he just has to learn how to break a goddamn tackle for once in his life.
I will say, even if things don't go the rest of the way for Voda here, the keeper situation is looking great. And that's a caveat I forgot about when we talked about the last team going into trades. Because the last update podcast we did was strictly redraft, so I forgot. Now there's like actual ammo to be, to trade here. That actually means something. So if I'm Voda, I'm trading some of my one or two of my keeper guys to try and get a veteran to compete. Because you're sitting on a ton of rookies that are all going to get kept.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you try and flip Godwin. Now that he's had a couple good weeks. You got H-An coming in. Great running back with him and Pacheco.
Yeah, I think, and actually in the last update we did too, the team who had H-An was also sitting lower. And I think if you're sitting low on the standings with H-An, you got to trade him and just recoup the value now, I think.
You're trading H-An now?
If I'm sitting if I'm sitting low in the standings.
Gotcha,
I gotta take a swing.
Yeah. It might be a little bit different here, though.
Yeah, I think with the keeper, I'm holding H-An.
But no, yeah, you're right. In a keeper setting, yeah, I would not be trading him right now. I would be trading one of probably Zay or JSN to try and get like another stud.
I think I would disagree. I think I would sit tight.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm gonna keep those guys.
Let them develop. But
yeah, and then they'll be studs for you next year.
Actually, maybe Josh Palmer would be a nice sell next year.
Yeah, I was about to say that as well. Maybe get one of the quarterbacks that is underperforming, or get another veteran in there to pair with Lawrence. But I like this team. I would sit.
Yeah, I agree for the most part. Maybe see if you can get something for Jameson Williams.
It looks like I'm not 100%, but it looks like they they get their future first round picks and everything already. So it looks like he flipped his future first already, his 24. But he does have an extra second.
Yeah, let me look at his transactions.
And flipped his future first 3 picks in 25.
Yeah.
So I would if that's my situation, I'm holding.
In that case, I mean, it looks like he's trying to build for the short term.
I think his first was already gone from a previous trade.
Yeah, if I remember, I think he did. He had traded that before we did the show.
To get the 4 and 23?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was part of it.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree. The scoring doesn't match up the team here totally. You look solid for the future. Lot of directions you could take this.
I think Grow It Out is going to leapfrog over them by the end of the season.
I agree. Yeah, he's a real grower, not a shower, apparently.
I mean, yeah, the points for it. What is he last? Second to last? Second fewest points for?
Who, Voda?
Yeah.
Yeah, second to last, I think.
Yeah, and a big gap between him and like the median score. So I mean,
you're playing for next year.
Not to hate. Yeah, and you got rookies, so that's awesome.
You got the pieces. Yeah, feel good about it.
He was probably killing it when A-Chan was going for 50 points, and then he got hurt. And
that's where he got his 3 wins.
All right.
Okay, so moving on to the division leader. Blar. That's the only way we're saying that now. Okay, so I'm looking at Sleeper, Bravo to Sleeper. We've got a little animated sun god picture. Yes, I love it.
My guy.
Yeah, you got Jalen Hurts, man. And then if anything happens, you got Brock Purdy. So you're set.
Awesome.
I don't really need to say much there. Dude, Ramondre makes me sad. Because
oh my goodness,
you can see it that like it's mostly still there. And then like he's a running back that needs the volume to get going. And you could just see it that like once he finally gets a couple, he'll chunk out an 8-yarder or 12-yarder or something, and then Zeke is in the next drive. And it's infuriating.
Yeah. Come on, Pats fan, give us the State of the Union. How are you feeling?
So I think for the first time, last week was the first time for me that he looked explosive, similar to last year. Like in the passing game, especially.
Mm-hmm.
It was, who did they play 2 weeks ago? That was when I can't remember.
Vegas.
Was it the Raiders?
Yeah. For some reason, I want to say he was pretty good in that game too. But yeah, he like, looks like he's coming back around, and it's like this past game especially, it was frustrating me because you could, like I said, I could see him starting to get into a rhythm, and then the next drive it's full Zeke. And I understand that they want to like have some sort of a timeshare here, and you can't. You're not just going to hand him all to Ramondre, but the way they're doing it is odd to me.
Yeah, I believe last week his snap share went back up to closer to like what we were used to last year. A little bit less Zeke, if I remember correctly.
Okay, good. Plus, they might trade him too. Who knows?
Yeah, last week was 65%. Last 2 weeks he's been at 65% snaps. Although he's been there most of the year. It just feels like he's not.
Right.
There was 1 week. Week 5 was about 50-50 between the two.
Like they had a horrible offense last year. Like they didn't have a real OC. And then they bring in like a quality, like upper echelon type offensive coordinator, Bill O'Brien, and they can't do anything.
Upper echelon.
You wouldn't say he's like competent, at least?
He's competent.
That's what I was going to say. He's an actual I was gonna say he's an actual NFL offensive coordinator.
Like he got a head coaching job and was like pretty good with Houston.
Yeah.
I guess he had Watson and Hopkins, but regardless, I just don't get why his production has fell down. Because I mean, I know Kendrick Bourne has shown some things, and but the offensive line is good. Like I just,
it's been a lot of injuries. It's been like a different starting five every single week. It's been, guys playing guard and then they're playing tackle and they're playing. It's like all over the place.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. I was all in on Ramondre, and it's not been very good for me to start.
Well, it just seemed, especially last year when he really got going, is like I said, he needed that rhythm and he needed the consistent work, and any continuity, any chance he has of some continuity here is just being taken away. He's got James Cook, who is what he is. I mean, I don't think any of us here thought he was going to be,
no,
I don't know, the 3 down back. A lot of people thought, but he's been fine.
This is probably about what we've expected him to be.
Right. Jeff Wilson is just never going to see much playing time unless everybody else is dead. Zach Moss looks like is going to get himself on the field, and fuck, he's at least earned it. At least, I mean, he's like legit looked really good.
I know. Where was this guy when I had him in Dynasty? But yeah, the running back situation's decent. I mean, not much you can do about it. We've already mentioned it's hard to acquire running backs during the season unless you're willing to pay an arm and a leg. And you have good wide receivers and a good quarterback. I would try and hope for Ramondre to kind of regain form.
Yeah,
that'd be my move.
You're looking at Drake London. We got to hope that next year we have a new head coach, we have a new quarterback, and then I think he can ascend to top 12 wide receiver if he gets that. But it's a big if.
Someone that wants to feature them more talented players? Nah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith's like, nah, that ain't me.
The sad thing is, I think we talked about it before the season that their division is so bad that they're going to keep winning games. And they're first place, 4-3.
And how do you fire the coach who just won a division, man?
Right.
And like they had 3 red zone turnovers last week, and they still won.
Oh, that game against the Commanders.
The Bucks.
Oh, well, I'm thinking about the one against the Commanders because I remember I played Ritter in DraftKings that week. He threw 3 interceptions in plus territory, and he threw for over 300 yards. Threw, I think, 3 interceptions, like I said, in Washington territory. Won the game and scored like 20 points. It was just the most Falcons shit you could ever watch.
I wish
someone. You were in the fourth quarter too. 2 of his picks in that game. Like,
I wish someone had made like a montage of Arthur Smith's facial expressions during that game. He fucking hated Desmond Ritter that entire game
so much.
It's what he deserves.
It is.
It's karma.
Well, next year he's gonna have Ryan Tannehill. So,
oh, God. Don't do that to Pitts.
That's awesome. We gave proper shout out to Gabe Davis last show. We've shit on him forever, and he's earned his due. You know, it's finally when he's drafted appropriately does he do something.
Mm-hmm. This was the year.
I mean, he's being absolutely buoyed by touchdowns. Last week aside, he actually had a real good game yesterday.
Yeah.
I gotta give him credit, and for him to be your wide receiver, 3 or 4, depending how you rank it. I mean, that's solid, especially when you got an absolute, beast in Sun God. He's coming for that catch title. I'm telling you, 25 catches last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I hope so. And then you got Kyler does come back Hollywood's value just instantly skyrockets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think these wide receivers are really good. I don't really like them past who's in your starting lineup. If I were you, I would be looking to add depth at either position because this team is 4-3, leading the division, clearly in the seat to go make a run. You've got the superstar power in Hurts, Amon-Ra. I would be looking to add some depth here.
I don't know. I'm not a big, at this point in the season, adding depth. I'm more about I want to improve my starting lineup. Because if you're going to win the championship at this point in the year, I mean, I'm sure coming into the year, you want to have some depth. I'm all for it. But once we hit like mid-season, week 8, week 9, week 10, I'm all about building up that starting lineup, going all in to try to win the championship. The bench isn't really going to help you much.
So
that's true.
I kind of want to push back on Zach as well, and for a different reason. I like Jaden Reed and Rondell Moore. I think they've had good roles this year, and obviously, like, they're not like starters, but in a pinch, I think you can play him and be all right, and maybe they have a good week. And then he's the guy that has Voda's first round pick in 24, so that might be hella clutch. So I mean, if he does want to and want maybe flip his, not Voda's, like Blar flips Blar's 2024 pick, and then you still have a first and increase your starting lineup, like Alex was saying. I think that makes sense.
You mean Blar's pick?
Blar.
I'm with you. I like Jaden Reed.
Yeah.
He was.
Of course, you don't like Rondo.
No, I used to. Not anymore. Jaden Reed. He was productive early in the year with those first couple of weeks when Jordan Love was playing semi-decent, and then he went back to being Jordan Love.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't like Jaden Reed the rest of the way this year, is because the only time he was producing was when Watson wasn't on the field and Jordan Love was playing well. Well, Jordan Love sucks and Watson's back on the field. So I just don't see a path to Jaden Reed being a redraft valued the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they don't play the Bears again until week 18, and that'll be after the season is over. So I don't know if he has another blowout game in him unless someone gets hurt. But yeah, I mean, I think you're in good shape. You're in first place, so just see what happens. Get to the playoffs, then crazy shit happens. Justin Jefferson scores 2 points in championship week. Like, you never know.
Absolutely. If you get into the tournament, anybody has a chance.
All right. Now we're going to go to the Southeast Division, where everybody's got a winning record. So this is where it gets spicy. We're going to Feedy. Defending champion Feedy, sitting at 4-3. And I'm going to tell you right now, this team on paper, like when I just look at your lineup, it screams way better than 4-3. I get now you were sitting on an Eckler injury to start the year.
Mm-hmm.
T. Higgins hasn't been quite the dude you want.
Dude, T. Higgins
it's been brutal. It's been bad, yeah.
He is under 5 points in every week but one.
I mean, he's been dropping passes. You had to deal with terrible offense. Burrow was terrible to start the year. He's been injured.
I don't know what's going on.
It can only go up from here, though. Can only go up from here. He's a buy low from him.
Damn. I didn't realize he, like, I obviously knew he wasn't doing well. I didn't realize that his production was that low in those games. But you got Jacoby Myers, man. And I think he's one of the dudes keeping you afloat. Like, he's on fire. He's had really good touchdown luck, but even if you take away that touchdown luck, I think we're still looking at a viable starter down the road. His target numbers are there, and I know they just went up a bunch for Adams, but I don't see Jacoby Myers usage just disappearing because they're going to keep sucking and having to fight their way back into games. And then obviously Goddard's been great. He's had a few quiet weeks, but that's to be expected out of him. He is kind of like Kittle in that way, where it's like he's gonna kind of disappear on you for a while, but when he shows up, it's a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
And then Brees is coming back for you. So, dude, the running back, the fact that you're sitting on Brees, Eckler, and Pollard, like
Bijan.
this is a tank rolling into the playoffs. Bijan's the tricky one here, though, because what the fuck's going to happen moving forward?
I think it was just a weird. He was just. Yeah. I think he had a migraine or some shit, or I don't know. I think he's gonna be fine. I wouldn't be worried.
I was thinking the same thing, but I'm a little worried that Arthur Smith's a little petty. And
you think
with his press conferences he's had this week, pushing back against fantasy football, dude hates fantasy football, man. I think he might be a little petty and be like, we're going to play him a little less just because I have the power.
And he keeps doing it anyway, just running Algier just for the fuck of it.
Which is why we weren't drafting Bijan in the first round.
But yeah, I think your running backs are insane, and that's awesome. I'm not worried about Bijan. Yeah, I would be. I don't know. I mean, wide receiver's rough for you, man. I might be looking if someone needs Eckler. I might be looking if he gets a good week, see if you can get a star wide receiver, just because they age better, and then you had the depth to actually handle losing an Eckler. But I mean, I wouldn't sell him to sell.
I hate that. I don't hate that, especially Eckler with another ankle injury now.
Yeah.
Dang, does he really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he just injured his left ankle now.
Oh, so he's got the Carson Wentz going on.
Carson Wentz, yeah, I knew you were going right away, buddy. Nothing will top him spraining both ankles on the same week. That's insanity. Only Carson Wentz can do that. That's like a car accident injury. I mean, he does have Amari Cooper, which I think better weeks are ahead. He absolutely boned me last week in that juicy matchup versus Indy in DFS and in betting. But
yeah, that's what you get with Amari Cooper, though. It's like all or nothing.
Yeah, dude, he's gonna develop his chemistry with PJ Walker, though. Even in that Niners game, he almost had 100 yards, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, everything was good until that last game, pretty much.
Right. I think he had over 100 yards against the Niners.
He crushed the Niners.
I think it was 4 for 102.
He had 90 versus Pitt. Like, he pretty much, in his good matchups, he's done really well, except last week.
4 for 108.
8 targets. You know, I mean, so he had the opportunity. It just didn't work out.
Yeah. Michael Wilson. You guys have any thoughts on Michael Wilson?
I think
Tyler coming back.
I mean, I think he's going to be just a guy not for now. Like, he's got upside and he might have value. I'd be looking to potentially move him or Marvin Mims, since this is a team that
for someone with a little bit more of a long-term outlook,
right? Like go for you could trade Eckler and Marvin Mims for CeeDee Lamb or some shit. I don't know. I'm just throwing a name out there, but like, you know what I mean?
Cowboys.
That's true. Never mind. Maybe don't do that. Well, no, they just get that Dak stack, though, you know?
Right. But yeah, I think that, I mean, again, looking at another team, I agree with you. I'm surprised. I guess 4-3 is fine, but this is a good team. I like it.
Yeah, this is a very good team. David Njoku sucks, though. He's dead. Oh. This was his last straw, man.
It hurts so bad.
This was it.
Dude, well, I mean, Watson. I mean, what is the deal with that? I mean, is he just straight up benched this week? It kind of seems that way.
Yeah. I think the football gods took things into their own hands.
They kind of did.
I feel like he quit last week. Like, I feel like he was good to go. And I was like, no, I can't. And then Stefanski's like, oh, you can't? Oh, okay. Well,
dude, make
sure you rest up. Make sure you rest up.
I
He's
guess
got guaranteed pay, whether he plays well or not.
He just loves the bench on the field or in the massage room. Okay.
Feels good.
Going over to Ricky. He's 5-2, and he has probably about middle of the pack in scoring, it looks like. So this is about a team that's actually got, even things evened out here. Quarterback, you got Matt Stafford. It looks like no backup on the bench, which he's an okay starter. He hasn't had the single blow up week this year, though. They seem hell bent on pounding it on the ground. I'd be surprised if let's check his game log here. He has one game with 2 passing touchdowns this year. The ceiling, I know it's the Rams offense, and you want to say like, hey, they're going to score, because especially with the way that Nakua has been playing, and then how Kupp has come back pretty seamlessly. The upside just hasn't been there for Kupp. Like I said, only 1 2 touchdown game, only 3 300-yard games. And he's got some pretty tough matchups ahead. I'm just
nothing with his legs.
Yeah, he does nothing on the ground. I'm not in love with having him as your QB1 on a competitive team.
Yeah, I would agree. QB. Yeah.
Well, he lost a legend.
Ooh, I just saw that.
Yeah, that hurts you, man. Because if you had the combo of the two, then that'd be pretty set. QB's been rough this year, man. It's not like last year, I feel like.
Yeah, the top guys are performing, but if you didn't draft like in a redraft league, if you didn't draft one of those top, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, one of those top 4 or 5 guys,
yeah,
you're struggling.
Yeah, I mean, we thought like there was like 7 or 8 guys that you'd be pretty confident with, and it's top 5. Like, I mean, like you had like Fields in that group, nope. You had Watson in that group, nope. Larry in that group, nope.
Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow,
nope. So
not great.
It's been tough. Running back though.
Yeah, this is nice because Zach Charbonnet has not been the thing most people thought he would. Kenneth Walker's still that guy. DeAndre Swift is also that guy. Turns out he's finally getting usage and healthy. Who'd have thunk it?
That O-line might have something to do with it.
A little bit.
I mean, yeah, for sure.
Swole Batman might have something to do with that. AJB is a tank right now.
Although his O-line in Detroit wasn't so bad though.
That's fair. Yeah,
there's definitely more to it. I think he might be a little more motivated. He's healthy.
He plays for a team that wants him there.
Right. Yeah.
And like
I think that's a big part of it.
I'm selling Dameon Pierce as fast as I can.
Yes.
Can you?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. In the Yards per Fantasy Dynasty League, I've been shopping him for weeks. Nobody's biting.
Buying?
I just bought Devin Singletary in that league because I'm like, this is the guy that I want at this point.
He doesn't
not that I want, passes. Not that I'm a Singletary guy, but
doesn't catch passes, and then he's not like running like he did last year, where he broke all those tackles and would get those explosive runs. Like,
and he
just looks
good offense.
Yeah, he's got a great QB.
Right.
You think you'd have like no stacked boxes. You
right.
know, they got wide receivers that are killing it.
Yeah, it's over.
This is a really good wide receiver room, though. Oh, go ahead, Alex.
Talk about the pain. This was his moment. This was supposed to be his time. Khalil Herbert went down, and he's missing 2 games with a concussion. And then Deontay Foreman plays well, and now he's not even going to get a shot.
I just want to say, I was a Herbert guy from the beginning, and it's his job, even when he's back. I told y'all he is an elite Well, not elite. He's a very good runner.
We'll see.
Like
Not so fast, my friend.
I'm not sold there yet.
Roshan, all of his points were in garbage time catching passes, so he does have that role. But this is not an offense that throws the running backs a lot. It's not an offense that throws a lot. It's not a good offense. It's a sad watch every week. Don't watch Bears games. Trust me. But yeah, I do agree. He had an opportunity because Herbert does get hurt, and he also got hurt. Ty Chandler hype was fun for a minute.
Very hot minute.
For a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, the wide receivers are fun, even with our boy Dotson dying.
Yeah, well,
pour one out.
Expected.
Well,
I mean, Diggs is gonna Diggs. Alex, take your Christian Kirk victory lap. The floor is yours.
We told you, man. We told you.
You told us. I did not.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't going to just go away. He was not just going to go away. And then you're going to bring in this 29-year-old who's had 1 year in an offense where Matt Ryan led the league in pass attempts and Julio Jones missed half the year. It's kind of circumstance, a little bit more than talent. Not that Calvin Ridley is not talented. He's just not as talented as he was being given credit for.
I think I think a lot of it is one, like you said, Kirk wasn't just disappearing. And the thing that is kind of like the reaction that's happening is like people say, oh, well, one thing about Calvin Ridley is, man, look at all the room he's going to open up for Christian Kirk. And then the instant they start throwing to Kirk because he's got all this room opened up, everyone's like, wait, what the fuck? Throw to Ridley. And it's and I think at some point, I actually really like Ridley this week. But Ridley is gonna have a few more games where he's gonna pop. He's gonna have a few more where he doesn't do much because he's gonna be used as a decoy a lot because there's so many weapons on that team. But Alex
is it
was
kind of like the old Minnesota Vikings when they had Diggs and Thielen, where Thielen's the more consistent one, and then Diggs has those blow up weeks.
100%. And I'll say, and Alex was totally right that Kirk is probably the dude you want week in and week out because he's got the connection with Trevor. And he is that slot guy who can just get open quickly. And especially this year with the offensive line playing, they've come around the last few weeks, but overall been pretty poor. And then now with Trevor's knee injury, they've just been firing the ball fast. And then it's been going to Kirk.
And he's not your typical, old school slot guy like Hunter Renfrow, who's going to get open, catch the ball, and be tackled.
Right.
He's going to take it 50 yards if you let him.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah.
On the Jaguars always put out like a little like mic'd up thing, and it wasn't Kirk who was mic'd up, but maybe it was just a bench mic or something. I think Agnew walked over to him and was like, man, I've never seen you run that fast in my life. And he said, I don't think I have since high school.
How about him having two Colts wide receivers that are actually playable?
Ooh.
I mean, I think the intent when Downs got drafted was he's a keeper piece, but
yeah,
he's just one of these guys who gets himself open like Zay Flowers. And that skill just translates. So I'm not surprised he's having an impact.
Yeah, and I think Gardner Minshew unlocks him a little bit there too, because he's not going to be running 10 times a game. He's going to be throwing it.
Absolutely. And
more targets to go around.
Especially under Gardner, it looks like they're going to have to be playing a lot of catch up. So especially in the Jags game, late in the game, Pittman and Downs ate because Jags were pretty much just giving them anything under 10 yards. So if that situation happens a handful of games here on out, yeah, those guys are going to eat.
Pittman getting crazy volume.
Dotson, we already mentioned, that's sad. Watson.
Can I take a
Dotson
victory
and Watson. What'd you say?
Can I take a victory lap?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we're all victory
Watson.
laps here.
Yeah, I mean, Watson has had like a decent stretch one time his whole career. Like he's had over 90 yards one time this year, and that was on a fluky catch.
3 catch game.
Right, he should have scored, but whatever. Like he's had one game where he's caught over 5 passes. Like
in his career.
Right. And people were like, oh, he's the next, up and coming thing. He's the next Brandon Ayuk type guy. I'm like, nah.
Everybody loves to say he's the next Debo because everybody's the next Debo.
Except he's the next Chase Claypool.
No one's allowed to compare people to Debo. Can we just make that a statement?
Yeah.
There's one Debo. But yeah, I agree.
He's Claypool.
Fuck you.
But yeah, Christian Watson stinks. And especially being tied at the hip to Jordan Love. He just can't move forward with that.
There's no Jordan Love's quarterback next year, right?
That's what I think. They declined his 5th-year option before the season. And what has happened this year? Now, they did extend him. So I think it's like a $12 million dead cap to cut him. So he's probably on the team. Yeah. But I don't think he's gonna start.
The only thing is, like, what is their alternative? Because they're not going to have a high enough draft pick. I don't think.
I mean, the veteran market, maybe Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins staying in the NFC North.
Yeah.
You want him
the
playing
Lambeau reverse Favre
8 times a year.
Oh, he would love that.
I want Kirk Cousins. I want Kirk Cousins to Atlanta.
I think everybody does. Yeah.
Let's unlock Drake London and Kyle Pitts.
That'd be great. You know who's not dead? Michael Thomas. Let's go.
He's not.
He's had like 50 yards like every game. Like he's getting decent catches. Finally got in the end zone. Derek Carr's been very disappointing this year. He's just checked down Charlie, and he's never been like a huge like gunslinger, but he at least threw it downfield.
He leads the league in deep passes.
Does he?
He's also like bottom 3 in deep pass accuracy, but he is there with the attempts.
I was about to say, he leads the league in deep passes, sail out of bounds.
And then yelling at Olave. Be 12 feet tall, dude.
You know why Ryan didn't come on the show tonight, right? He didn't want to be confronted with his awful keeping Michael Pittman over Michael Thomas take that he had on this show the first time around.
It's fair.
Yeah.
He went into his show. He's like, I'm not going on that show.
I can't do that. I can't feel the heat on that one.
He found a way to keep them both, though. He kind of found a way to keep them both.
Yeah, I mean the wide receiver is good. Tight end, I love Pitts. You just gotta survive. He's showing some signs of life at least, and then better times are ahead.
Pray for Kirk Cousins
and
not Ryan.
I mean, like we mentioned, that tight end is such a wasteland right now that even when you have the game where Pitts goes 3 for 47, he's not killing you.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you gonna do? You got a teammate, a league mate starting K Dot in the tight end. Like tight end sucks. It's just hard this year.
All right, we're gonna go to Log Legends.
Ooh,
this guy.
I'm happy. This team's so good.
Okay, so he might be he is the league leader in scoring, and quite frankly, it ain't close. Holy crap, he's got it by over 100. Let's just dive in. You got Justin Herbert. And actually, you got the Herbert and Allen stack, which is going to end up being one of the best stacks in the game this year. Herbert plays for the Chargers, obviously, but that defense sucks ass. And
world knowledge shared right there.
Yeah, I mean, just end it now. I just gave out the most secretive information. But
don't tell your friends.
They don't
act out before your league mates know.
Chargers don't play defense, and Herbert if you take away the Chiefs game, his lowest game this season is 22.58. And you can't, and the Chiefs are just playing crazy good defense this year. So it's not like, I don't know. It's not like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, it's no fluke that he performed not so great, and he doesn't have to play them again until week 18. You're golden with Herbert and Allen.
Well, imagine when he stops overthrowing Herbert for wide open touchdowns. It's going to be great. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be so cool. There's going to be so much room for activities in the end zone.
No. Herbert, Allen's only like 6'2", and you keep overthrowing him, man. Like, get it together.
If only they had drafted a quality wide receiver in the first round.
I knew it.
You were just waiting, lurking in the shadows.
Or Zay Flowers. Those guys are pretty good.
And that's the part that makes it worse, is that they took him as the second receiver in the class. And the other dudes are just like immediate impact stars. Oof.
I mean, even like Downs is better. And
yeah.
Puka Nacua and Rashid Rice and like
Marvin Mims. And he's caught like 4 passes.
Mims with Herbert would be dope.
Yeah,
those deep balls he can unleash. Ooh. Maybe they would actually play him a little bit.
Dude, how about Marvin Mims with 2012 Russell Wilson?
When he was still athletic?
Yeah, because he was a deep ball savant.
Yeah, he was.
He's just a thick boy now.
Yeah. Running backs. So
Great.
You got CMC. Congratulations there.
ETN.
Yes. And you've got ETN. Let's see what he was probably kept. Yeah, obviously. But he's the running back 3 on the year. I believe he still has the most touches for a running back on the season, which is bananas. And if you told me that preseason, I would have laughed at you hard. But he's just been unstoppable. So there's no reason to not feed him. Period. And like we kind of talked about a little bit with the Jags offense, they've kind of bumblefucked their way to where they are. So like, yeah, I think some of his touchdown luck might go down, but also the offense overall should pick it up a little bit more, which might create more scoring opportunities in general and even out. So who knows? Regardless, ETN is a home run, 0 worries moving forward, especially when you got him and fucking CMC together. Holy crap.
Yeah. My redraft league with only 8 people, that's my top 2 running backs. And I can't believe you have this in a 12-person basically dynasty league, like half dyno. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's way cool.
He survived JT's injury. That's awesome.
Can we give a round of applause for trading away Kyron Williams for a first-round pick?
Oh, hell yeah. And then picking up Myles Gaskin and Darrell Henderson for free. That's how you do it.
Way to sell on Kyron. Oh, my goodness. Ballin'.
Yeah, that's pretty badass. Pretty wild. We're in a world where Pat Freiermuth was just a waiver ad this week. Sad.
Yeah, that's been sad.
We're looking at some sick receivers, though. You got CD, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, and you got DeAndre on the bench. God damn, this is a good-ass team.
Tank's been really good.
I'll take my slight Jalen Warren victory lap, though, because you clowns liked Rashad Bateman.
Shit. I was hoping we would forget about that one.
Yeah.
Because even though my Warren take at the time had way more to do with, I think Rashad Bateman sucks.
Yeah.
To do with Jalen Warren.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
Nuke though, that was my do not draft, and I still feel pretty confident. He's still wide receiver 48. He had that one good game versus the Colts, and that's about it.
I don't know. This week though, you got 2 quarterbacks that throw on the ball.
Oh,
What's wrong with that?
You got Mayo Boy and can't get out of bounds in a 2-minute drill.
Okay.
Can't wait.
Has anybody ever done the 2 quarterback thing and it been like
Oh,
good? Even in college, because you see in college a lot. It doesn't even work in college.
maybe in like the 80s with Joe Montana and Steve Young. They did that for like 3 weeks or something. And then even that wasn't working and they committed to one guy.
Does the Drew Brees Taysom Hill thing count or no?
No, because I was going to say you can bring in a gimmick guy, and I don't think that's like, that's different. But when you're asking 2 separate guys to come in and run it, fully run an offense, like that goes right back to the continuity thing with Ramondre. But how do you expect a quarterback to ever get into a rhythm?
Well, chemistry doesn't matter for quarterbacks and wide receivers. So. I don't see the problem here, bud.
Yeah.
All right. Hashtag no one ball. KJ Osborne. Is he dead?
Yeah.
I think he's fine to keep on your bench. If you got to throw him in,
injuries.
He's fine for a fill-in while JJ's gone. I think once JJ's back, though, he probably becomes droppable.
He goes right back in the box.
I mean, he's not as dead as freaking Kadarius Toney.
Kadarius Toney. Hilarious.
Now, let's be real. That's why Ryan's not here.
Yeah. Well,
he
also loved KJ Osborne and Kadarius Toney.
That's right. That's right. He's just running scared.
I still have that Kadarius Toney clip saved in the drafts for the Yards for Fantasy Twitter account. Sometimes I just want to drop it. I just want to drop it sometimes.
You want to make sure it drops in like a prime time situation.
Brian's too good of a guy to do that too, though. I wouldn't do that.
He's gonna listen back and what the fuck?
Yeah, right.
just taking
straight. Right.
What about my good takes?
We forgot them all.
You should have showed up, bud. You got a victory lap for yourself. Yeah, this team, I remember this was, I think, everyone's agreement, like the only one that could really stand up to Mod Dave. And it's been better than even we anticipated. Yeah. I mean, even CD, better days are ahead, man. That guy's so freaking good. There's no way he's going to stay in the 20s.
Yeah, he's underperformed for sure.
And then to wrap his roster up, he's got Tank Dell, who is going to continue to be a nice piece. And just a great moving forward piece.
I think in matchups with a good cornerback where Nico can get a little bit more locked up, I think those are the games where Tank is going to really thrive.
Yeah. The 2 games I remember playing him in DFS were against the Jaguars and the Falcons. The Jaguars have Tyson Campbell. Falcons have AJ Terrell. Both of those guys do well against big bodied dudes. Mm-hmm. And so, I remember, you're dead on about that. You're going to be able to find the matchups for Tank, and he's going to be a nice play some weeks. But this team easily could take it.
And they have a first-round pick if they really want to. I mean, I think this is a go-for-it type of year. So if you see an opportunity to flip, even injury or
where are we upgrading?
I don't know. I mean, I love Waller.
I was trying to find something that we could upgrade, but
I don't know. Maybe you just see an opportunity someone wants to sell and you don't want a league mate to get that ad. I regret I could have bought Keenan Allen before the year and I didn't want to because he's just old and I didn't want to pay the second. And one of the other main competitors in our league got it, our boy Ross. And I'm so pissed at myself because I literally was like, someone's going to buy him and it's going to help them more than it would help my team. And should have done it.
I think if I'm doing anything here, it's Jonathan Taylor with maybe that first round pick for something, because that way you're you're still taking a piece of your starting lineup and upgrading it. JT might have more value to someone else who is looking at him as a long-term piece rather than for this year, where they might be running him with Zach Moss a bunch the rest of the way. Who knows?
I'm not that worried about Zach Moss.
No. And
Snaps
they
have gone
paid
up every
JT.
week. Yeah, snaps
not-
have gone up every week. He's up to 50% last week. I think he'll get to 60. He's not going to get to like the 80% guy that he's been in the past, but I'm really not concerned about Zach Moss taking too much there. He's going to get more involved he's going to get more involved in the passing game. And he doesn't have the goal line touchdown vulture back there anymore either with Anthony Richardson out.
And he's got a quarterback who will dump it.
Right. And they're going to throw the ball a lot in the fourth quarter because
rumor has it Alex is still playing Anthony Richardson in DraftKings.
I finally stopped playing him and I finished second.
Which is hilarious because you were playing him and he was just killing it every week.
I know.
Side tangent, if we're going to talk to UFS, the week that he got hurt, my team scored like 170. I had him and JJ. They both got hurt. Literally, my entire team went off. My two most expensive players got hurt. I am never going to, ever.
That hurts.
It was
all right.
I was devastated.
Let's kick it into the last two divisions here. We got Mookie.
Oh, this was a guy. What was our story about Mookie? He didn't pay attention to the league or something. I remember you had a rant about him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was the one who doesn't pay attention. And I was like, well, I'm going in on you and you won't even hear this. So what's the point?
Yeah, notes say poor league participation. Stumbles into a good team every few years. Yeah.
Okay,
I will say lineup change.
I'll have to text him to remind him.
I will say, looking at the transaction log here for Mookie, almost a weekly transaction. So progress.
Pick of the draft with Puka too.
Right. But this team is, what is our record here? 3-4. We already talked about Joe Burrow. The ceiling is just not going to be there, especially like we talked about with Higgins. At offense is going to be Jamar Chase. Like Mixon has been bad this year. We already talked about Higgins. Yeah, the offense hasn't been good. I mean, Chase has been, but I don't look for Burrow to be a top dude down the stretch. What about you guys?
I don't know. I think they get it back.
Yeah, I'm not.
I think a lot of that. I think a lot of that was the calf.
Yeah, I mean, he still has Chase.
Yeah,
they've invested a lot in the O line. It should be good, and he's just a really good player in Burrow itself. So I think better days are ahead.
Pass attempts have been there for the most part. He's throwing 5 touchdowns the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, this team, it's got some really good pieces, but I mean, we keep talking like, hey, if you want to buy, I think this guy should be a sell. I think he's got some guys that he could get some really good returns, like a young player in a first, and start to try and turn things over.
You need to move Kelsey is what you got to do. Like he's number one.
Okay,
you don't think so?
If it's a haul, yes. I don't think he's going anywhere.
You better get the world for Kelsey.
Yes.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You trade him, but yeah, you're getting a ton for it because someone should be willing to pay for him. Like in the way this league is, and with all the picks they have, and the way that some of the teams are sitting, and the way we talked about tight ends, just a wasteland. If I'm someone else, I would be willing to pay that premium for Kelsey. So I don't think it's totally crazy to say go sell him.
Yeah, I would want the first. I don't even know what I would want for Kelsey in a league, just because I don't think he's slowing down.
I agree though. I think if you're content with being the rebuild team, you're not going to go for a championship this year. I think, this is the time.
I think he's your first domino. If you're making the commitment, he's the first one you look at.
Right. If you're going to make that commitment, he's got to go. But again, you're not selling him for anything but everything.
Right.
Like 3 first and something young and promising. Like I'm talking like Herschel Walker type trade.
Hold your league mates hostage. How bad do they want to win this championship? Because the team, maybe I'll help you right here. The team that trades for Travis Kelce instantly becomes the favorite to be the champion out of those
because
top handful of contenders.
Now that he's healthy and the Chiefs are rolling, he looks like he's going to get 10 catches for 130 every week now.
I think he's like 8 or 9 points per game over tight end 5.
And he missed week 1 per game. But still, I think he's still the tight end 1, even though he missed week 1, and he's got it by like 30 points.
Oh, yeah. It's not even close. It's such a damn difference maker. I'm so happy with my offseason take that Kelce is the 101 in best ball, and I have a shit ton of Kelce. Just because there's nobody else at fucking tight end. There's nobody.
No one.
Ayuk. Can we stop with Ayuk? People want him to be the next. He's a wide receiver, top 12 wide receiver. No, he's not. He's not.
No, he's not.
He's not better than Debo.
He's better than Debo.
No, he's not. And anytime he gets an opportunity to show up, he chokes.
He's better than Debo. For our purposes.
Okay.
Thank you.
The guy, everyone keeps trying to say it since his rookie year that he's the next up-and-coming thing, and he just never does, even though he's in the best offense to put up points.
I think he's like a fine wide receiver too.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
But yeah, I definitely push back on the people who think he's like a legit wide receiver 1.
He's not top 20.
I would say he's probably around like 15.
Yeah, see, you're the problem, Alex.
And Debo is more like the guy like down by 20. What does Debo give you other than yards after the catch?
Right. So any catch can be 70 yards.
Yeah, but so can Brandon Ayuk. You can take that thing to the house.
If you want to say health, I'll give you that because he plays more. Okay. Debo, because Debo's really good, so he gets featured more.
I mean, Debo's had 1 year of averaging over like 13.5 fantasy points per game for a season.
Yeah, but he was wide receiver 3 that year. He can actually be a top 10 wide receiver.
1 year, just like Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. Ayuk's never done that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh, he's only 26.
Shooting strays all over the place tonight.
Yeah, I think Ayuk is the style. Take advantage. Debo's out.
That's true. I mean, without Debo, and I think maybe we're always a little clouded by fantasy Twitter, because most of the opinions we see are of other analysts and stuff, and it is a lot of Ayuk love. So yeah, I think the value is probably as high as he maybe will ever get, and I think it's a good point, Dennis, that
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Get rid of him if you can before Debo's back. Especially since we're looking at this team through the lens of trying to sell to get better. Because the running backs aren't impressive. Saquon has been pretty good. But that he's just capped by a shit offense. Madison sucks. You got Najee, he sucks. Yeah, you got some young guys. This is just a kind of an oddly built team to me without much of a direction. Because like I said, there's youth here, but then there's also veterans, but they don't really mingle very well with each other. I don't know.
What do you
I
do
guess
with
this
Puka?
does Rika the team of the guy who doesn't pay attention.
Yeah.
Do you just hang on to Puka?
Yeah.
I mean, in this league, yeah, because you get to keep him. I don't remember. Do the keepers? Do they go by value?
Yeah, I think you just get 10, and then the draft starts with all the available players and the rookies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I'm not 100% buying in. And I saw on like Keep Trade Cut, which, is its own world. But like he's up to wide receiver 12. That seems insane.
Yeah. He's getting there. I mean,
he looks great. He really does.
I was never, ever a Puka guy. I think maybe we'll give him some props. I think Ryan was, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
Because I believe he brought him up in one of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I laughed at him. I laughed it right off. Like, no, not gonna be a thing.
The thing my like projection of Puka was like, hey, you've got this young guy who profiles. I know a lot of people said like similarly to like the Robert Woods type, and I was like, okay, we've got this guy. He's young. They might, get him in on some action of those like jet sweeps and maybe use him for a handful of catches a game. But like, he might be a nice football player. And I just never thought that he would be like an impactful fantasy dude. Here we are pushing into week 8. The dude's lighting the world on fire, and he is even performing with Cup on the field. So
top 12, 5 to 7 weeks.
Insane.
There's not a person in the world who saw this coming. Puka Nacua didn't see it coming. Puka Nacua's friends didn't see it coming. Puka Nacua's mom didn't see it coming. Nobody saw this coming.
Yeah. And then
I have him as wide receiver 21 in Dynasty.
Right.
Which feels appropriate.
I would agree with someone like that.
I can't get him over Jackson Smith and Jigba.
So if you can get like 2 first, let's say you can get 2 first for Nacua, would you do it?
I would.
League?
Yes.
Well, in this league though, that's different. It's hard to value in this league.
Yeah, but it's still like rookies.
Oh, no, you're right.
If you look at their draft, their whole draft, besides there's one non-rookie.
Okay, no, you're right though. Yeah, that's a good call. So 2 first, I'd pull that trigger.
Okay. Yeah, I think he needs this. Like, pick somebody. You have some good assets. Find somebody to sell and try and reload and get more pieces. Tyler Algier, he was the only non-rookie in the first round. I knew there was somebody. But yeah, I mean, some pieces, but you're not doing anything this year.
No. But yeah, then you're just sitting on a ton of like middle kind of pieces. So like you could probably sell Sutton, but like what are you really getting?
I tried.
And it sucks because he's been a legit fantasy piece.
I know, he's been pretty good.
Dude is like a lock for double digits. He's catching touchdowns. But yeah, he's a tough sell. I don't think anyone's going to buy Najee.
Oof.
Like, maybe you could get someone to bite on Deontay. Yeah, I don't know. Not the brightest days ahead, in my opinion, here.
Yeah.
On to human missile crisis.
There we go. That was a good one. Good pull. Okay, so we're going right in here. We got Tua at quarterback. Not much to say here. As long as he's on the field, he's going to be a top fantasy quarterback.
Hater Zach.
What?
Hater Zach on Tua.
I just keep it real with Tua is what it is.
I think this has been a very impressive start for Tua. He's top 5. Like, he was not going anywhere near top 5, and he's been really consistent every single week, pretty much.
Oh yeah, he's been on a monster for fantasy. and especially with the way McDaniel uses so many of those little just like flips to a guy coming on a jet sweep or something, and they're racking up his pass yards.
And that's with like their running backs scoring more touchdowns than some teams. Like he could, like if they wanted to, or if they called it differently, he could have way more passing touchdowns. He could usually have 3 or 4 more with the way this offense is produced. So I think sky high value right now.
The only thing I got on him is that the stretch schedule for the Dolphins is really hard. That's about
Jets,
it.
Dallas, Baltimore. Yeah, that is a tough playoff schedule. At least most of them are at home. At home is clutch, just with the weather.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're set there. You don't got to worry about anything unless he gets hurt.
Fields, sad.
You think it's over?
I think it's over to Chicago. I
don't see how it's not.
I love the guy, and I think he's still an elite talent. It's just the reality of the situation. He's going to be, up for an extension, or you draft a rookie on a rookie deal. Right. If it's Williams, who's a better prospect than Fields ever was. So I don't know how you pass.
Yeah, no, you can't pass on that.
And the only way you can pass on that is if Fields has 100% shown you, hey, you need to pay me, but he hasn't yet. So it's like,
I don't know if he's really going to have a true chance to do that this year at this point with the thumb.
Well, he's not. I mean, the whole situation just fucking sucks.
He was starting to play well.
I do think he's going to be back. Not this week, but the following. It's just a swelling issue from what I've heard. It could have been worse, but it wasn't horrible. It didn't need surgery. And so it's just swelling. And once it's swelling down, he's got to get strength back so he can grip. But he's not running like he used to, or at least last year. So that hurts him fantasy-wise. But if he does go to a new team, it could be a benefit. He might end up to one of those teams that are in the back half of the draft that have no shot at one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks, and maybe that's a plus for him. So fantasy-wise, I think it's still a hold and pray, but Bears-wise, I think it's over.
Justin Fields to Atlanta. Let's get it going.
I would love that. Him and Pitts are boys. They vacation together.
There it is.
They grew up. Yeah, they their same draft class. They did all the football camps and everything together. So quarterback, pass catcher kind of thing. Yeah, I think your quarterback position's in good shape. Going forward, running backs.
This is a good room still.
Yeah, you would figure Jacobs was your one. But he's been kind of disappointing. But then you got Mostert, who's been a revelation. Year 31 breakout.
Hey, we lost Alex.
Yeah, he'll be back.
I know. It's really funny that you just said that, because in our last episode, when talking about Cortland Sutton, Alex said, yes, age 29 breakout.
Yeah, he did that in the preseason. Yeah, he did that in the preseason too. It was clutch. That's a good one. I like it. He'll be back. He's got to rip Quentin Johnson.
Yeah, right. But yeah, dude, it's just the speed and the McDaniel effect.
Yeah.
That's all it is. I mean, just fire it up. He's been incredible. I know it's tough to judge when Achan's in, but he gets more carries than Achan. But that might change because, like, Achan's a rookie. It's really tough to predict how that one's going to play out, but I think they're still both going to be really good the rest of the way, man.
I think it's the rare situation where both are very fantasy, reliable in a way. I think either one of them, any carry can go to the house, especially Achan. But and I think, like you said, I think he's the more reliable one. It's not really like a thunder and lightning kind of thing because they're both lightning, but he's the more thunderish lightning one. And then Jacobs, he's still getting most of the snaps and most of the work. Just that offense is just bad. Devontae Adams hasn't even gotten double-digit points in 3 weeks. How do you screw up Adams? I didn't think it was possible.
I don't know, man. Josh McDaniels, special
Brett
talent.
Brett Hundley had him fantasy reliable. Like, what are we doing here?
It ain't good. He's got nice bench running backs though.
I know.
Connor's gonna come back. I mean, Zeke is gonna be like a serviceable spot fill-in if you need him to, because he's just viable for Vulture. And he's just gonna get some work. And like I said, James Conner's coming back. Miles Sanders, we already hit up a little bit about him, but all three of those dudes as bench running backs is really clutch.
Yep.
This is a nice wide receiver room as well with Olave, Ridley, Kendrick Bourne, and Thielen. This is like, so Olave's been really good despite the
his blowout game. His blowout game is absolutely coming.
Right.
Like, and I'm not an Olave guy at all, but the way that he's being featured, there's absolutely no way Olave doesn't blow up. I knew you'd be back, Alex. That's what I was saying. I was like, he's got to come back to dunk on Quentin Johnson.
I was watching it live.
We were waiting, buddy. We knew it. But yeah, I agree. I think Olave's coming, man.
And yeah, we already talked about Ridley.
There was a comma there. There was a comma. He's coming, comma, man. I just want to be clear.
Punctuation is key. You can't take Ridley out of the lineup at this point. Like, I know people are acting like the dude got murdered. It's crazy. Kendrick Bourne has been a revelation.
Yeah.
And Alex, are the targets here to stay for Kendrick Bourne? Because I feel like they are.
Short term, maybe. But we've seen little mini stretches like this from Kendrick Bourne before, and they don't last. He's not a team's ideal number one wide receiver. He's a complimentary wide receiver that is being forced into a wide receiver one spot. Demario Douglas is coming.
Yeah,
now, I don't think he's a stud in the making either, but I think he's, a starting slot wide receiver in the NFL in his future.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley, he's become that boom bust guy. He's Mike Williams of years past, where you got to play him and deal with the ups and downs, because when the ups happen, he might win you the week.
He also needs Zay Jones to come back.
Yeah.
Because Zay has legit, take the top off speed. And without him as, any semblance of a deep threat, and even without Zay on the field, they just hardly utilize the other wide receiver spot on the perimeter. Zay commands legit attention. And so it's just a domino effect on that offense. Once again, you've got all these pieces to defend. And then when you can't totally cover Calvin like you want to, because you still have Zay to worry about, it only helps Calvin. But I digress.
The way the way the general public was talking about Calvin Ridley coming into the season, and now we're talking about he needs somebody else to open up things for him.
No, I hear you.
It's quite the drop off.
I had him. I thought he'd be top 14. I really did.
I did too.
I'll take that one.
I thought they'd both be top 20.
But I thought Lawrence was gonna have that huge leap year too. And like we said, it's just there's been some circumstances. I mean, Ridley dropped a 40-yard touchdown. There's been some weird things. But yeah, I agree. I like this wide receiver room. It goes to old man Thielen, just fountain of youth, buddy. Oh my goodness, I got him as a throw-in in a dynasty trade, and woo!
Man, I traded him for a 3rd-round pick 2 weeks into the season, and now I'm damn. I was I'm never gonna be able to get anything for him. He's got a couple good weeks. I'm just going to sell him. I thought my team was heading towards a rebuild, and now I'm in first place.
He was my second highest best ball underdog because he was going so late. I have 38% on him.
I've got a ton of Thielen as well.
I probably have about as close to 0 as you can get.
Yeah, you did not like him. I think we're gonna give Ryan some props. Ryan was with me. He liked Thielen too. I'm pretty sure. I could be.
I was liking it better when we were hating on Ryan. We're starting to feel too nice.
I'm pretty sure he said, what's his fuck? Trey Sermon. So let's just remind people. We got to say Trey Sermon at least 3 more times this draft.
Throwing ice on the pot here.
Let's not give him too many flowers.
That's fair. The one thing Hunter mentioned this on the show we did last week, and that Thielen last year was getting played on the perimeter a decent amount opposite of JJ, and now that Carolina is like exclusively throwing him back into the slot, he's thriving, which makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
But here we are, yeah.
And then we'll talk one nice person, James Conner. Sucks he got hurt, but we were all pretty high on him, thought he'd be a decent RB2. So you got some thunder coming back as soon as he's healthy, especially if that can coincide with Kyler coming back. I know that kind of eats into him, but I doubt Kyler's going to be running like he typically did, so probably more checkdowns than Kyler's used to.
Right. So I think that was part of why we liked him. Because even when Kyler came back, he wasn't going to be, scrambling around type of Kyler. So.
And then you want to go off on QJ. I'm going to leave. I can't be here for this. But you can go off on QJ.
I mean, there's really not a whole lot more to say about him, to be honest. I've hated on him for weeks. He's what we expected, or what I expected, I guess. I mean, QJ, he was built up coming into the draft process as this deep threat, down the field guy, which I was for. I liked QJ a little bit before he ran his 4.65 40. And now all of a sudden he's not your deep threat, because that's not going to win down the field in the NFL. And he's not this big physical wide receiver that everybody wants him to be, like Mike Williams. He's not that guy either.
I was going to say, everybody says he's this big body, go up and get it guy who doesn't hands catch. He's a body catcher. I had a moment where I did like him in the scouting process.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know. And then the hype got way too real. He was drafted as the second wide receiver to the Chargers. And so then the hype got even more real. And here we are. But yeah.
And this is one of those situations where sometimes it's a little bit more than scouting him too. It's the vibes. The vibes were terrible from the second that he got there. He couldn't beat out Josh Palmer, even though he declared himself in the spring.
I forgot about that.
He's like, I got it, man. I already beat him out. And they get their training camp. You still can't beat him out. They get to the regular season, still can't beat him out. And now everybody wanted him to be the next Mike Williams. Well, this is your chance to be the next Mike Williams. Mike Williams is out. And what are we getting? Last week, he had a career high receiving yards. Congratulations. 20 yards.
So I agree with everything you guys said. You're right. He's definitely not that guy. He's not Mike Williams. I did think he had like a good I thought he was athletic watching tape, but not like special. You know what I mean? And definitely his 40 time was, and just his overall combine stuff wasn't otherworldly. It was worse than I anticipated. But I thought he had a pretty good release package, and then just the length itself should be helpful. And I thought Yak would be helpful, but he's just not getting open.
I think Yak is a dangerous game to play when we're scouting college players, because Yak at that level often doesn't translate to the NFL level, because a lot of the teams you're playing against future lawyers.
I was going to say,
NFL
we need to remember Big 12 defenses too.
But he did show up versus Michigan, who's got a legit, team. But anyway, I agree. I agree with everything you're saying. What I liked most is when he ran routes. I thought he ran routes with like a plan, and he looked like he knew what he was going to do. And I think he was kind of buried to start, and then I think you're right. I think he's not better than Josh Palmer, and that's a problem because you need to be better than Josh Palmer.
Josh Palmer's on a high bar.
If I want to give you some flowers, I did kind of hear what you said, and right when Mike Williams got hurt, I traded for Joshua Palmer in multiple leagues. And I was like, maybe Alex is on to something. And so I've been very happy with that. He's been a very solid player. But yeah, it's just for C Packard human missiles, like your only move is just to hold and hope he develops, and don't sell. You can't sell for pennies, bro. Like
no,
unless you have somebody who still believes.
Okay, yeah,
but
if you get a first,
after listening to us, there shouldn't be anybody in this league who still believes.
Nope.
But you can cut James Robinson like yesterday.
Oh,
yeah.
Now he's on the Packers.
Is he? Holy
That's what it
practice
says.
Squad.
Yeah. Last I knew he was a Colt for like a day.
You can cut that man.
We'll wrap this team up at tight end. He's got starts Evan Ingram. What?
I said you just want to talk Turk Ferguson.
I do. Yeah.
I know you. I know my boy.
Evan Ingram. Once again, tight end, but Ingram has just been solid as fuck. He hasn't even caught a touchdown this year. But he pretty much is just going to get you like 7 points. And that's without a touchdown.
You have him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like he's just that like totally cool. And then like as your backup, you got Jake Ferguson, who was a dude I really, really, really loved in the offseason. And he's been pretty solid. And actually for like a waiver pickup at tight end, especially in this tight end landscape, he's had a couple nice spots already. And like you don't need to start him, so I think you're fine letting him sit behind Ingram. And in a keeper league, he's got some potential there as well because he's only in his second year.
Oh, this guy on June 30th, transaction, he dropped Raheem Mostert.
Ouch.
Ooh.
That one hurts.
You got him back, though.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I take it back. Whatever.
All right. Division leader.
Oh, he's there.
We're going to Sporty. Sitting at 5-2, another solid scoring team. You got Lamar, man. He had his blow up game. I think Lamar's back. I think they had some speed bumps in the new offense. He had those 20-point games that are, solid, but like he had his blow up game. I think he's here.
Yeah.
Pedals down for Lamar the rest of the way. I have no concerns. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he ends up as the QB1 this year.
He said 3 30-point weeks, like Lamar. He said 3 30-point
Okay,
weeks.
this league scoring is different then.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's thriving in that offense right now.
They must have 6-point passing touchdowns.
But yeah,
anyways.
He did. He looked. They had 4 touchdowns before Detroit had a first down last week. I couldn't have been more wrong. I bet Detroit in that game, and oh boy,
that was straight up ass kicking.
Oh yeah, I was so happy, and Lamar, all systems go. This was another one we all agreed was a really, really good team. So I'm happy to see that they're thriving.
And you held out for Kamara, and that has turned out to be an absolute home run. I was super skeptical. I thought looking at him last year that the juice was starting to disappear. And then I thought with the suspension, bringing in Jamal Williams, adding Kendre, I just thought at best he was going to be part of a timeshare, still catch some passes. He's stepped right back into that role we're used to. and Derek Carr just dumps it off to him all the time. So yeah, he's been an absolute home run since he's come back.
I don't think we were completely wrong about him losing some juice.
No, but
just Derek Carr sees nobody else but him.
I said last week on our episode that Derek Carr's AC joint is Kamara's best friend.
Well, I mean, he has the most receptions among running backs, and he missed the first 3 weeks.
Missed the first 3, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and he's got number 2 in receptions, and Rachaad White, Alex's boy.
There you go, and he didn't even play him this week. I don't even like Rachaad White.
I don't blame you.
This week.
I don't blame him not playing Rachaad. He's been.
Who would you have played him over?
Probably Gibbs.
No.
Why?
Monty's gonna miss again.
Playing Rachaad White over Jahmyr Gibbs?
Did you see what Foreman just did on the Raiders? Gibbs might be like
he's
like
a top against the running back.
Yeah, Gibbs. That was a strict garbage time bazillion catch performance.
A little bit.
He had like a 30-yard touchdown run. No way. Gibbs is bad.
Yeah, Dennis, rewind this back 2 minutes when you said the Lions offense didn't even get a first down until the. So how was that not a straight up garbage time performance? There wasn't an ounce of that.
Gibbs' fault.
I understand, but there wasn't an ounce of that performance that had like full pressure.
Okay. I love Gibbs this week. I wish he was in the main slate for DFS. I'd play him again like I did last week.
Yeah, I'm with you. Definitely over Rachaad White.
Buffalo's given up a ton of points to running backs all year.
That Bucs offense is ass. It's pretty much just been Mike Evans.
He scored 14 points.
Yeah.
We're not talking about a 30-point game here.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't think Jahmyr Gibbs can get to that?
Well, I think he can.
I think he will.
I also
I think that's his floor.
I don't know. I would have considered it.
Okay.
If the Raiders play anything like they did last week, Gibbs is going to drop 30. That team was sad versus the Bears because the Bears are pitiful. But yeah, he's got a good running back situation. I think we all agree on that if we're arguing. Start.
Yeah, but past the 3, it's not.
Yeah, but you only have 2.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, yeah, you're really not in a position to where you're going to need them all.
And he's got great wide receivers. Maybe if you were going to pick one, start him over Metcalf just because you don't know what's going to happen with his health. But
and he's playing the Browns. That's probably what I would have done. Regardless, yeah, it's a good running back room. Receivers are really deep because you're starting 4, and there's really not any question about that. And you it's about no concern about any of the 4 being in your starting lineup.
No. With JJ out, Addison, you have to play him. Kirk is locked in on him.
Oh yeah.
And then Adams, I don't know. I'm torn because I'm in a spot where I'm debating benching Adams, and I can't do it.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't think
single digits for 3 straight weeks.
Gets Jimmy Garoppolo back
for sure.
Yeah, he's good this week.
All right, that does make me more confident.
Dude, he caught 7 passes and still couldn't get to 10.
And 6 on the first, not the first drive, but he.
It was early. He ate a lot.
Yeah, and then they just ignored him. Now Jalen Johnson has been very good for the Bears when healthy, but it doesn't matter. It's Devontae Adams. I don't get how he's the most schemable wide receiver. Matt LaFleur did it with anybody. We could hit Adams for a touchdown in the LaFleur offense. What is going on, Josh McDaniels? You're a joke, bro.
Yeah, he is.
He's really bad.
Rashad Bateman, Treylon Burks, neither of those guys do anything for me. This is a tight end room that you got to sell one of these guys, man. You can't be sitting on Laporta, Kincaid, and Musgrave.
I mean, you hit the tight end jackpot here.
I mean, you did, but you got to sell one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, and my vote's Kincaid.
I agree. That's who I'm selling too, especially
knocks out.
Yes.
Especially after last game, he was good.
Laporta's the long-term dude here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm selling Kincaid and I'm using Musgrave as my bench tight end.
Yeah,
I think
Musgrave hasn't hit big enough yet to justify trading him away.
See, and I'm on the position I'm holding because if they had a quarterback, man, like, dude, he gets himself open down the seam and shit, and Love just sails it. He's like the type of dude that if he keeps developing and then they get a real quarterback, he could explode.
His ceiling is as high as anybody's.
So I agree with like wanting to sell one of these tight ends. I just don't know where. Like, this is a really well-rounded team. Like, he's got 3 running backs that are solid. He's got 4 wide receivers that are solid. I guess maybe add it. Okay, I'm okay with that.
I think we can upgrade a wide receiver. Yeah, we were just talking about how concerned we are about Devontae Adams.
I love that he has Kendra Miller to back up Kamara for the future. All these tight ends, rookie. Like, you might just wait and be like, hey, you guys are fucked the tight end. I'm not.
Yeah, you're in good position here for the short term and the long term.
Yeah. He's got his first next year already.
Yep.
So Burks, I think Burks is still a buy low if you can get him at like actual value right now.
Not as low as you can
get. If you can get him for dirt, sure.
Like, I don't think you can get him for a third, but I bet you can get him for a late second, and I would pull that trigger.
Yeah, because I mean, how often do you hit on late seconds?
Right, and like, he was always a raw guy. He was always
talent's there.
Right. He was always going to take a minute to develop, and he's got things you just can't teach.
And he has flashed a little bit.
Like, he is that like next Mike Williams type. Like, he can go up and absolutely moss a dude for a ball, which I know isn't like the most like reliable trait, contested catch, but it is like a valuable one. Like, teams love that guy. So I mean,
I always liked Burks coming in.
Yeah, we're slurping this team. This is a good team.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. We don't need to spend a lot of time here for Canto Bright. This seems real bad.
Jesus.
It's real bad. Literally the only thing I got here is if someone offers you anything for anyone who's not first or second year player that you like, probably take it.
Ooh. keep Javonte. That's it.
My notes from the first podcast for this team said for season outlook, as I wrote, it's going to be ugly. It will take a couple years to be competitive, and we're seeing that come to fruition very much so here. It's pretty bad.
He's got Maud Dave's first, so that's great.
Yeah, I think Javonte is legitimately your only piece here.
I mean,
maybe Judy gets traded and then you could trade him.
Even some of the guys that we had been slightly optimistic about aren't hitting, like Jerry Jeudy or Okonkwo,
Mike Williams.
Yeah,
honestly, Schultz. I've been waiting to talk about him for the person that has him. I love Schultz. I think he's been great, and I love Stroud. And so if you can get something for Schultz, I'd say go for it, because some teams need tight end, and he would be an upgrade. He'd be a starter on a lot of these teams we've gone.
Yeah.
So if you can get like a decent second or something, I don't know.
His last 3 games, 10-5, 10-6, 10-2.
I forget the exact numbers, but his red zone target share has been solid. Teams focus on Nico, and he's the next big guy.
Right.
It's hard to hit Tank.
Right. Exactly.
In the red zone.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. all you can really do is keep plugging forward, trying to recoup picks. At this point, I would try and get as many first and seconds as you can for next year, because the class is obviously pretty special.
Yeah,
and that's about all you can really do right now.
Because Wolf.
Yeah. Okay. Pat Sajak.
Wheel of Fortune.
2 of 5. But we got a solid scoring team here.
Yeah, this is one of my top teams, so I'm not too proud about this one.
Well, he's got Josh Allen.
Yep.
Obviously, that's great. And Sam Howell is a great backup running back for fantasy. Quarterback.
He lost Chubb. That's big.
But yeah, Allen, you got Allen, so you don't got to worry about quarterback. Aaron Jones and Foreman leaves less than, it's less than stellar. Leaves a lot to be desired. But yeah, losing Chubb is brutal. Other than that, the running backs here aren't pretty.
No, Aaron Jones is super disappointing.
Wide receivers are good. I mean, you're good and they're young with Pickens, Smith, Garrett Wilson. But yeah, this is just not the best team either. There is some young pieces to move forward with, though.
So
you get unlucky with go ahead.
I was going to say one of his trades, he received Jerome Ford for Dallas Goedert and Jacoby Myers.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not a fan.
I don't like that.
No, I don't either.
No. Yeah, that's yikes. I mean, people get unlucky with points against. You just got unlucky with injuries and situation. Like Aaron Jones right away, obviously Chubb, and then Garrett Wilson because of the Aaron Rodgers injury. Devonta has just been buried because AJ Brown's been so good, and then Goddard has kind of come on. It's just been a weird year. I don't think this is a bad team. I think it's pretty good. Just sucks.
Right.
I
think this is pretty good. Bro. It just sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't talk kicker defense, but you got a great kicker in defense too. It's just, I don't know where you're not doing anything wrong. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Just doing a bad job.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a lot of bad luck here.
Because even if you look at it through the lens of, you start the season looking at this team with Chubb as RB1 and Jones as RB2, and you're like, yeah, I'm down with that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We loved Chubb.
Oh,
yeah, this is just kind of a shit happens team.
I kind of feel like maybe when Chubb goes down and Aaron Jones is out and Devontae Smith is underperforming, Garrett Wilson loses Aaron Rodgers, maybe you should have, week 3, week 4, maybe pulled the plug on this team and start selling a little bit.
Right, because you've got some nice young pieces at receiver. You're not catching Wad Dave, and you're probably at this point too far to hit the wild card too, because there's a 5-2 team.
And even Hawkinson, JJ goes down, you finally get some luck, you would think, and then Hawkinson hasn't been very good with JJ out. This is just not your year, bro.
No.
You spun the wheel for Wheel of Fortune, you landed on Baker. It is what it is, bro.
Was that an intentional Pat Sajak Wheel of Fortune reference there? Okay, good.
100%.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe sell Kittle if you can, but also I don't blame holding on to 2 of the 5 to 6 guys that are must start at tight end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can double start tight end. It's all right, and you're keeping that from other people.
He's flexing one of them, and his team is in the shape where he, it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I wish I had more better advice. At least you have your first round pick this year.
I feel like you should have been shopping, a Deontay Foreman to somebody who needs a running back for the short term. should have been selling Jerome Ford, not buying Jerome Ford with this team.
Yeah, I think like I agree with both of you. Or Dennis, I'm with Dennis. Where like you didn't do anything wrong, but then I'm also with Alex, where it's like you kind of did because you should have jumped on this right when it showed the signs of this.
Right.
This is going to spiral on me. Should have been more proactive, but like overall, it is what it is. It's not a bad team, and you can still work with it.
He also kind of had some bad luck with scheduling. Like he played Ricky, who's been good, Log Legends, Blar to start the year.
Blar.
He paid Voda when Voda scored 162, so it was probably the huge Achan week. Like I think, again, the theme. You're just unlucky, bro.
Yeah,
this ain't your year.
Sorry, I guess we're just gonna leave it at that. Which brings us to
the legend.
The legend, yeah.
The final team of the day.
Fraudulent legend.
He's gotten so many shout outs on different pods.
The man,
people have no idea what we're talking about.
The legend himself. Mod Dave, ladies and gentlemen.
Mod.
I think last week's episode was the first time we didn't mention him on one of our shows.
Probably, yeah.
This team is so much fun to look at.
Okay. Patrick Mahomes, cool. Next position. We talked about Mixon, and he has been very disappointing. Do you think he turns it around?
The volume's there.
Yeah. If we believe the offense is going to turn it around, I think he naturally has to. The volume's not going away. Tredavian or whatever his name is, Williams, is not Travion, thank you. He's not cutting into that workload. Either is Chris Evans. Either is Chase Brown. I believe he's injured anyway. So Mixon's going to continue to get the workload. And so if the offense ascends, Mixon is going to ascend with it. I think there's a cap to that. But he'll be a usable, RB15.
I tend to agree that as Burrow turns around, Mixon will come with him.
Right.
Just a more efficient offense.
Right.
And then B-Rob's been good. Like RB11 on the season. Fantasy-wise.
The snaps are ugly.
His usage is dropping hard.
He's not only losing snaps to Antonio Gibson, he's also starting to lose snaps to Chris Rodriguez. When you lose snaps to Chris Rodriguez, you know it's bad.
Yeah, but Ron Rivera is a bad coach, so I'm sure he's going to still get usage.
Right. But this is not a very good running back.
No, I mean the running back room is holding him back, but he's got Monty coming back eventually.
Yes, he traded a first-round pick to get him.
Smart.
Yeah, that's a good trade.
I like that move.
Me too.
In this team environment. And I like it for the team that sold him. So I think it's a win-win for both teams. Because the team that traded him away was, I believe, Pat Sajak. Or the team that we talked about before. It's one of the bad teams. So I think that worked out well.
Yeah, so he's got Monty sitting there that he can flex into B-Rob's spot when he's ready. He's the one who's got Singletary, who looks like he might be ready to take that job over. Tyler Algier is getting obviously decent work, and if for something happens to Bijan, that's a home run play. But then let's get to the creme de la creme here.
Here we go.
Fucking receivers, man. We did it the first time. Don't you? It's like Billy Madison, that little kid. Don't you ever say that. AJ Brown. Holy shit, dude. 5 games in a row of 125 or more.
He's about to break the record.
I was going to say, and he gets Emmanuel Forbes again.
And one DJ Moore went for 250 against him, and Washington plays the most man in the NFL, and AJB has a 50% target share versus man. It's insane. Like this is like the blow up of blow up weeks. So of course he's gonna get like 38 yards, but in theory,
HJB,
I
Jamar
love him.
Chase.
That's my guy.
I
I mean,
know Jamar.
He's missing
What?
Justin Jefferson, and you can't even tell.
I know.
It's the most insane thing I've ever heard.
I know, because Waddle only goes up from here. Like he's not going to be what he is, what he has been. Like, that's just not going to continue for Waddle. That's just not a world we're living in. I refuse to believe it.
No.
We mentioned with Burrow, like Chase has already had the blow ups, and as Burrow gets healthy, it's only going to get better for Chase. And then you're going to get JJ back because they've won 2 in a row.
Yeah.
They're looking like they've got life. They're not going to just be fire sailing and just telling JJ to just take the year off. He's coming back.
He himself has more incentive to come back.
Right.
Than he did 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I never bought that narrative. One, just the player himself, like that just doesn't seem like who he is. Like he's a huge predator. Yeah. Like going back to LSU, like the reason why he played in the slot and everyone thought he was a slot wide receiver is because that's what his OC told him was going to get the most targets. So he's like, okay, yeah, put me there. You know what I mean? Like he's an alpha of alphas. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I have no concerns about JJ coming back. That was a silly narrative.
I agree. At this point, you can't even really upgrade this team, man.
Well, I think he did, like Alex said, he did the move they needed to make.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you trade your capital that does nothing for you right now, and you turn it into a productive running back starter. And past that, you just got to ride the wave, Dave.
I mean, we didn't even mention he's got if it's not Kelsey, the only other reliable tight end is Mark Andrews. And we've already hyped up this Baltimore offense. It only helps Andrews that he's actually has like wide receivers that are competent and get open and can do a lot of stuff. And now they pass. What the fuck?
He even has the best tight end on the Falcons.
God damn it!
Oh, I told you.
Kidding.
Never say that to me. Yeah, I mean, this team is just special. Yeah.
I mean,
there's not a lot else to say.
The bench is kind of brutal.
Yeah.
You get past the first couple guys, but that's really nitpicking. The starting line is so good. You're never going to these guys.
All right, I have a criticism. He took Mingo pretty early.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Mod?
God, what a fucking idiot.
Well, that was after he took over the team after the guy before him built it up.
Oh.
Yeah. Drive it on the ground from here.
Yeah.
Sounds like fraud, Dave.
Oh, Zach with the puns, killing it.
You got Michael Mayer, though. He had one good
game. If Vegas was setting odds for Mod Day versus the field, what do we got?
There's some good teams.
Yeah, versus the field.
There's some good teams.
Like plus
I don't know. I think Log Legends can hang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if it was straight up.
That's because he's got a log. Am I right?
Whip it. Pop it on the table. Yeah, I think Log has a really good team. I think Sporty's got a good team. And then but if it was straight up, it would still be Mod's title to lose, in my opinion, because he's going to be adding 2 just perennial top, obviously wide receiver 1, but then another Monty top 5 running back as soon as he's back. Is that crazy? With the volume that he gets,
so because he's got volume and he's going to score.
And he scored, he scores. And he looks more explosive than he did ever with the Bears.
And top end running back hasn't been what we're used to.
I mean,
like as far as many guys who are, bona fide studs.
He's missed 3 games and he's the RB13.
Right.
Damn. Yeah,
and
that's
he's
awesome.
got Herbert. Herbert could come back and take that role too. I know Alex disagrees, but
No,
he's a solid player.
Now
He's
that he's definitely going to come back and overtake Deontay Foreman, but I think if Roschon had his chance, we'd have a conversation. But I just, it doesn't look like Roschon's going to have his chance at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Justice Hill has had some value, I wouldn't trust it, but other people are welcome to.
He's usable if you really need somebody.
And then Mayer was disappointed. I thought he was going to kill it last week against Chicago, but that offense,
I did too. But
Vegas, it's just a weird team, man.
Well, you got to remember, he's the 3rd option on the passing game on the Raiders. So we got to be. I got a little ahead of myself on that too, and then I thought about it afterwards. Like, I don't know what I was thinking there.
Oopsies.
He's a good player, though. He's a good player. He's going to happen. Oh,
I have full confidence that he's going to be a fantasy asset down the road.
Yeah, I think the game he had 2 weeks ago told us that he's going to be a thing.
That was an eye test game. It was.
He's going to be patient.
It was the production was there, but it was the way. Like he made a couple like nice leaping grabs, while running across the middle. Like it was just, to me, that game was just an eye test game where you saw him and you were just like, yeah, like this guy's got it.
He looked like he did at Notre Dame,
right?
Where like he was one of the best. Like at least at Notre Dame, he was definitely their best pass catcher. But he just looked like he was one of the better players in the field.
Right, and he only did that with a 65% snap share. So there was room to grow with that role too. He just had Brian Hoyer as his quarterback this week.
So do we think any division leader is going to lose their spot?
Ooh, good question.
I think Blar is in the greatest danger of losing it.
I would have to agree about Blar. I think if anyone's going to lose it, it's there. And honestly, it could be
I don't think
all the way down from 3rd.
Right. I was going to say, I don't think it's to Voda. It's to grow it out.
Yeah, I mean, I love that team in the preseason. So I'm 100% with you. That was my pick as well.
I do got to, I guess, since we're about to wrap up, I got to give my shout out to Grow It Out because I said I would. He's got the Byron Leftwich profile picture.
Woo!
Yeah. There it is. I wore the Leftwich jersey for the people. Anyone else got anything?
Do we want to do who we think is going to win it all?
I think we kind of already did. Dave or Log, right? I mean,
well, we got to pick.
That's our consensus.
I think we got to pick.
All right, fine. I'm rolling with Dave.
Dave?
After the whole Mwad Dave experience has happened, I can't not do it.
You're right.
I want to pick Legend so bad.
I wanted to pick the underdog, in quotes underdog, but
it's the Legend.
It's gotta be Mod.
It's
gotta be Mod because Log is stronger at running back, but I think the strength at wide receiver for Mod Dave is just going to be better than the strength at the running back for Log Legends.
Agreed.
And like QB down the stretch, I trust Mahomes. I don't trust Herbert. Like I just don't.
Yeah.
I think. And then like Waller, of course, is a good player, but versus Mandrews, like those are the two. That's 2 positional advantages where I'm like 100%. I'm with Mod.
Yeah.
Wide receiver group Mod. Like it is what it is. So I would pick Mod.
And he's got some guy on his IR that's going to come off eventually too.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good player.
Pretty good.
And you're starting in your flex.
I'm happy to see how this league turns out. I think I had fun. I hope you all enjoyed this.
Yeah, we gotta do another one in the off season to see.
Yeah, I want to do a postseason one for these guys for sure. Because these are like this is like our guinea pig league.
I know.
Because this was the first one we did, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and
I didn't even have positional group memes for this one.
Oh snap! Yeah. So yeah, the fact that we get to do this and is really fun. Singing? And I want to do a postseason for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun. See if Maud Dave can finish the job.
All right,
we're all counting on you. Don't make us look like idiots.
Yeah, Dave, don't make us look like assholes. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Anyone got any last words? All right. See you later.